turn that mic on.
Put out all kinds of bait. That's work.
Okay.
Grab an agenda.
You need one, Brent?
I got one, thanks.
Thanks for getting back to me.
Okay, welcome everyone to our Monday, August 4th COSAC meeting. We appreciate you being here. Next item on our agenda is the approval of our agenda and minutes. Any changes to the agenda, Brandon?
I don't have any proposed changes.
Okay, anybody else? What about the minutes? Has everybody had a chance to look at those? Concerns? I didn't see anything. So,
I just sent out like an hour before, so if you need to delay them to approve them in August, that's fine too.
folks okay? I'll just say, without objection, we'll adopt the minutes and agenda for today's meeting. Okay, so as folks probably saw with our emails, a couple of the items that we wanted to talk about are just following up with our joint meeting with the county council and some of the action items that they sent us away with, which we in general have listed here. So developing options for promoting awareness of open space conservation funds, and then developing conservation funding strategy for small parcels. I don't know how much time we'll spend on the small parcel discussion since Eric's not here, and he's really been our committee member who's most engaged on that, but we can certainly talk about it if there is anything more. I thought in general, it was a good meeting. Brent and myself and Eric and Claire were there, and yeah, any important takeaways that?
I was impressed personally with the council's attitude towards COSAC and the work that they've done. They seem to be grateful, and they seem to be very open to work with us on these issues. I was happy to be there and to see the support that we were given.
Yeah. Claire, what did you?
Yeah, same thing. Seemed very constructive and I think answered the questions, and I think it's good to do that. I don't know, a couple times a year, whenever.
Yeah, I agree. And so some of the ideas we brought up from COSAC that we've discussed in previous meetings for promoting awareness and that sort of thing, we were able to touch on during the meeting. And for the most part, council said, come back to us with some specific proposals and let's work through these and make them happen. So I think that's what we want to do today is continue that work and make sure we're working towards some specifics that we can share with the council to get their blessing and move forward with some of our ideas. So yeah, any questions, Reagan or Kendra, since you guys weren't there? Anything on your mind concerning joint council meeting? Okay.
Give us a little more of a heads up when they're going to spend a bunch of money. Probably not.
We talked about that, so that was definitely something that we brought up and shared some frustrations.
Yeah, we worked 6 months and then a week, it's
Sure.
$4 or $5 million goes out the window.
Sure. Yeah.
But they're the decision makers, so that's the way it goes.
Yeah. with the program the way it's set up, they can use us or not if they want to. And
That's right.
they've had a couple of projects, and you know, I know the executive is here. David, I don't know if you want to speak to any of this, but I think, you know, there were some time issues with the projects that they were looking at, and so they had some valid reasons for.
If it's out on in the public, it'll probably get some more buyers,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. We want to find ways to make more people aware of the program. Yeah, Keegan, David, either one of you want to talk a little bit more about the joint workshop at all, Keegan, or?
Other than, I think there were some concerns initially that were about reaching out to specific individuals with public money and then using public money to promote ways to get more free public money, and I feel like those concerns were explained and alleviated. So, you know, as a liaison, I do my best to communicate the goals of COSAC. Having you there, I think, was good, and then me being able to ask the group questions in front of the council and get some background, I think was very effective. I think we're moving forward in a positive direction. That's my take on it. So the suggestion to do that a couple times a year, I think, is great. I do my best to facilitate that, but yeah, I think, like anything else, it's better when we work together. So.
For sure. And in general, the council's looking for us to come back with some specific proposals that they can.
And I think that I'll add that there was a note on looking into having a COSAC member in a closed session where that's legal and I guess permissible or above board.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it was a lack of desire. I personally brought it up. Now that the meetings are public, you can go back and see, you know, I brought up COSAC and those conversations, and so I think we're gonna try to do that where it is possible, so it wasn't an intentional snub.
No.
I understand the optics and I know how much work you guys do, so it wasn't anything about that.
Yeah. Yeah, and just to echo your point there, I think on that topic specifically, the council agreed that, you know, at least having a chair from the committee at the meeting would be helpful, if not the whole committee. So it's appropriate.
So yeah, I think overall I'd rate it a success. I hope you guys feel the same way.
Yeah, I know I do.
And I'm sure that meeting was recorded and is available, the meeting we had. And so if either of you guys wanted to look at it and get more information on what was said, you could get all that info.
Great. Anything else you want to add, David?
No, I think that's a good summary.
Okay.
We would like your input. Those two situations were very unique, and there were some confidential negotiations. One of them, we were negotiating against another buyer and had to keep those negotiations confidential and had to move very quickly. The other one, we spent 4 years working on it. It was very in-depth, thorough analysis, and lots of discussion. But I do like the idea of including a representative at least to be part of it. And another option is you guys could have an executive session. COSAC could have an executive session to discuss the acquisition of land, and then the information would just have to stay private, and all of you would be under penalty of law, have to keep that information confidential. So there are a couple options. And I'm sorry I missed that joint meeting, but was there any discussion or direction about doing public outreach?
Yeah, there was. I mean, we talked about, at least we were able to bring up all of our ideas or brainstorming that we've done internally, the different options. And so I think all of our ideas were receptive to the council. I think they just wanted to see more specifics.
Good.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So I think, and a multi-pronged approach is definitely what we're looking to do, more than one way. And then I'll just share as a side note, with the committee, the executive is actively working to fill our vacancy on our committee. So hopefully we'll see something soon in that regard. Okay, any other questions or comments about the joint meeting? And then I think we should probably, I'm going to suggest that we revisit our ideas from brainstorming and just make a list of the things that we want to work on as far as promotion and outreach. Does that sound okay with folks? Like,
Great idea.
let's have a list, and maybe we divvy up responsibilities or something like that for folks who are able to work on some of these things. But I know I'll go ahead and list the first thing on my mind, which is working with the executive office on a joint statement that can be published from the committee chair and the executive, that can go out as a news release and probably get advertised in the paper, that sort of thing. So, and I'm happy to work on that item specifically. Any questions on that? Any guidance, direction?
I'd be happy to help back you up on whatever needs to be done there.
Okay.
If you want to give it some flourish, you just talk about there's X million dollars available and nobody's applied for it in 3 months, 6 months, or whatever.
Great. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. One of the other things I know that we've been let's talk about the direct mailing approach that we were talking about. I did get the sense that the council is pretty receptive to that approach. I think, as you all know, what we had done in the past was individual committee members were tasked with looking at specific areas that we had all agreed, would be sort of a priority. Let's just say the gateway area into from Logan Canyon, or not from Logan Canyon, but from Sardine Canyon, for example. And we've gone so far as to actually create a series of maps following some general criteria that would then identify all the parcels in that geographic area. And we generated a list from that. And so I think we can continue with that work. We just need to get it to a point where it's presentable and we can share it with the council and say, this is what we want to do. And this is how much we think it'll cost, or that
I think I heard them kind of ask for.
What's that?
Didn't they kind of ask?
Yes,
for that?
for sure.
Yeah.
Yep. So I think,
There's a private mailing that went out. Do you know what areas that went to?
I don't know the specifics on that. I don't know if any of you guys happen to know, but no, I don't. Eric would be the one that would know, I think.
Okay. Just wondered if it was all the gateways or just the south one, or
Right,
couldn't quite tell from the discussion.
right.
So, apparently, you may want to shed some light on that. Apparently, there was a private mailing that went out that wasn't COSAC, but it was Friends of Open Space. And particularly, one member of the county council had received it and was confused and thought it was from us. So, we wondered if we needed to kind of look into that. And I think Eric has identified who in that group kind of were the ones who put that together and sent it out.
Right. And on that point, right, we want to be in a position where we limit confusion, right? And so I think us developing our own outreach that comes from the county is going to be the best way to do that, right? Trying to stay out in front of these efforts. So, yeah, other thoughts on on direct mailing?
Well, I believe the council's direction was, they weren't saying no to anything, but that we needed to make a proposal.
Correct.
So I think anything is kind of up in the air, and we can go back to those ideas and
Yeah.
target areas and come up with proposed costs.
Yeah, I mean, for the direct mailing in particular, like, I think because of the work that has already been done by the committee, with some limited additional effort to sort of polish those items up and be explicit, with a description or something, this is how we came up with, this map and the boundary that we think makes sense. I think if we just did some bulleted lists that this is how we came up with this map and why we encompass these parcels, and just really explain why we're proposing it, I think we'll get a warm reception from council. So, and I know Eric and I know Claire, you two had also worked on some of, the initial gateway mapping and parcel stuff. So is that something you guys can continue to work on? Sure. And get it to a point where we feel like we have our ducks in a row and can explain ourselves and
Yeah.
share that with the council?
With the goal being to develop a list of relevant property owners.
I think it's going to be a map, a list of property owners, and here's the criteria we used,
Yeah.
in bulleted form.
Yeah.
Do you think it would make sense to kind of split that into 3 separate proposals and let the council choose kind of which one that they're most comfortable with? Like parcel sizes and amounts that we want to send out for costs.
My suggestion is that we put together what we think makes the most sense and we pitch it to them.
I like that.
Instead of, what do you think about this? And then, what do you think about this? Sort of
Keegan?
going back.
Yeah, I think if you just had, hey, we've identified the key areas, there's 180 of them, these are the addresses, it's 40 cents per address.
Yeah.
We're asking for $400 to send to this, I think that's probably gonna be the easiest way to do it. Maybe show a couple pictures of the areas, or, I know you have to be kind of careful of identifying specific people's property and,
Yes,
but, yeah, maybe just the criteria of how you identify them.
okay,
That's what I think that will go over the best.
okay.
We could show them the entire list in that area and down to the half-acre parcels, and then say, here's where we recommend.
Exactly.
And then
here's
they'd have the
why.
visibility if they want to change it.
Exactly.
I know one thing that came up was if they're eligible for state funding or not, and if they've already tried that avenue, because there's some overlap at
Right.
times. So if there's more research that's gone into that too, I think that's a component you could include in there.
Okay. Other thought?
We find that. Eric might.
Okay. And I think, like, let's just say, assuming we started with a Sardine Gateway as the first area, then I think once, that's gonna be the best way to work with the council to say, okay, here's the process we're looking at this one large area, and we can repeat that if you guys think we're headed in the right direction for other areas
Oh,
too.
yeah.
The other thought is if there's some symmetry between the original survey purpose of the open spaces and why people voted for it. And then you could loop back to the council and say, this is what people were expecting when they voted for this bond. We're trying to fulfill.
Yeah,
And, yeah, it's an easier sale.
good. We keep, which is a reminder, we keep talking about, or at least I do, I keep bringing up the Sardine Canyon Gateway, right? Because I think most people would agree that's what they envision as an important area, as a good example area to target. But it's not wildlife habitat or other, categories from the bond emphasis, even though those, that gateway area may include very important habitat or other, prime farmland, other categories in our program. It's not necessarily all of the above when it comes to meeting the objectives. So we'll need to think about how to bring other factors, other resources into the examples.
And remind me, I know there was a lot of work done, was there a letter or kind of a rough draft of what we would send? Was that was put together, right?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. That's right. That's another thing we need to have ready for the council to see. Okay. I do know too that staff did some website organizing regarding COSAC and did some compiling of all the information onto our COSAC page. And so now we can see all the meeting agendas and minutes all on one page. And so I think as we go forward, additional things that we want to post on the website, it'll be a go-to place for anybody interested in the program. So I think that'll be a good thing. What else in terms of direct mailing do we need to talk about, or what other ideas on our list should we add?
Have we considered any sort of social media outreach?
I don't think anything specific.
Because there's a lot of research that people need to hear something 14 times before they'll actually do it. And you're not going to get that with a direct mail.
Yeah.
Right.
As a county, are there social media outreach that I'm not available of? Is there social media outreach?
There are outlets.
Like a regular newsletter or
I don't know
items
about a
of
regular newsletter.
interest?
Yeah, David just left, but he probably knows more about that, that'd be the executive function.
Janine,
Landis probably knows about,
We
yeah.
have a trails page, but I don't know that that's the correct avenue for this. And then the county has their own Facebook and Instagram.
yeah, Janine works in the executive's office. She manages most of the social media for it.
Okay.
There was also a suggestion to see if you could schedule an interview on KVNU.
Yeah. That specifically and possibly local news outlet interview too, like the Herald Journal.
And I know once you have an article or
Yeah.
an interview, they post the link to it on their podcast page, and then from there you can cut it up or
Yeah.
do a video with the text and share that on social or email. So
Yeah.
I
That
think
should.
that's probably a good place to start, because then there's an article and an interview to reference. And you have something to talk about on your social channel.
Good.
That, and then the other thought I had is most of the towns in Cache Valley send out a newsletter with your utility bill.
Yeah.
Could we ask them to put it in their newsletter to let people know?
That's a great idea.
Good idea.
What's Janine's last name?
I don't actually know.
Alan?
Okay. What else? I know there's a couple other things I'm not thinking of.
Well, potentially partner groups, the Wildlife Conservancy. I'm sure they have some sort of outreach or newsletter too. Other groups like that, maybe.
Anything else you guys can think of or that we've maybe mentioned in previous meetings?
Notes.
Anything else you guys can think of, Keegan or Landon or?
Get a hot
Angie?
debate going with the municipal elections right now about the topic.
It's true.
That'll get people
Good
talking
idea.
about it.
You know, one of us should maybe reach out to the candidates and spread the gospel of COSAC.
We'll meet the candidates night tonight for Logan and North Logan at
There
5:30
is?
at the library.
Oh,
I mean, in all seriousness, there are ideologies that will shape the way municipalities are cooperative with things like this, so.
Yeah.
I think if there's a relevant question, it would be appropriate to ask.
Yeah, good. Okay, I've noted that, so I've got a list of roughly six items. I've got the joint statement that I'm gonna be working on with the executive office. We've got the direct mailing effort that I wrote Eric and Claire, since those two have been doing most of that work previously, and obviously anybody can jump in. The website, I think, maybe we'll leave to staff, and it's up to us to encourage them to post different things or information from the COSAC that we think should be on the website. So, and then the last three, there's the social media outreach, radio interview, and municipal/partner organization letters. Would anyone like to volunteer for working on any of those in particular?
I think a lot of those feed off the other ones, so
I agree.
once we have the
Okay.
interview that we can say, here's this thing, or we have a statement written for the direct mail.
Yep.
That's what we would say, would you put this in your
Yes.
newsletter? So we're giving them the language already, so I think the last three wait on the first.
yeah.
Okay,
I would recommend perhaps that we make those assignments or ask for volunteers when we're ready, when
Okay.
we have that. I don't know what our goal is for next meeting or something like that, to have everything ready to be ready to publish and share.
yeah, good. That sounds good to me. I think as soon as we can have some of this information to present to the council, we should do that as quickly as we can, so.
And I would just note, if you want to get on the council agenda, that the liaison, council liaison, likes to have all the documentation that week before.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
And you might even consider getting it on the schedule so it drives your own deadlines.
Good. Okay. Anything else on agenda item number 3? Okay, so agenda item number 4, developing conservation funding strategies for small parcels. As I mentioned, I think, Eric's really been taking the lead on that. And so, we could maybe put that off until the next meeting to have a detailed discussion, but I think similar to the other items we've discussed, the council was open to a strategy and just wanted us to put something together, what's our recommendations, and run that by them. So anybody have anything you want to talk about for this item right now?
Have we defined what we mean by small parcel?
I think, no, the direct answer is no, we haven't, but I think the way we've talked around it is 20-ish acres or something like that, just at least, and the context for that is when we've been looking at, say, the gateway areas, for example, we sort of dropped parcels of less than 20 acres, I think, thinking that smaller parcels are higher cost per acre, very complicated, matching agencies aren't very attracted to those, so there's nothing magic about 20 acres other than those kind of challenges, I think. And so,
Do we need a size criteria on that, or is the criteria more that the owner doesn't necessarily want to go through the work of seeking multiple funding sources, and we're just asking, what if Cache County is the only source?
correct,
And there's a substantial owner contribution. I
correct.
don't know if we need to limit it to a size.
Yeah, we wouldn't under those criteria, right? We'll take any parcel that somebody wants to donate,
The
right?
county, yeah, for instance. Yeah, and if it's a 90-10 match, you know, maybe.
Yeah.
Whatever the county, well, we'd still have criteria, and the
Yeah,
county
yeah.
council would still have criteria. But
We'd still have
it's a
scoring.
lot easier if it's a smaller one, but, pardon?
We'd still have scoring.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd still score the project and everything like that, yeah. No, I think, I also agree with you, Claire, like, I think the answer to the point is, yeah, there's not a small enough parcel, but recognizing that smaller parcels have a lot of challenges associated with them, but under the right scenario, might be very appealing for support from COSAC, so.
There's areas in the country that people donate them. I mean,
Yeah,
they just
exactly.
donate, put it on.
Yeah,
They want it to
exactly.
be administered by somebody. And
Yes,
Yeah.
they want them to be able to go forward with it forever.
Yep.
There's a lot of easements that's been donated.
Yeah, and there are plenty of easements in Cache County that are smaller than 20 acres. So,
Eric mentioned a couple of times looking at our data on dollars per acres.
yes,
I wonder.
in
if-
terms of what we've done so far?
Yeah.
Yes.
My thought is, we're still gonna have to look at the value of that
Yes.
property.
Yes.
Because it might have some unique value, it might be way higher, maybe way lower,
Yes,
and the average may not be that useful.
yes. Yeah. Other thoughts on small parcels strategy? Okay, I think like the promotion and outreach, if we just articulate what our ideas are and why, we'll be able to get some support from the council to move forward with what makes sense. If there's nothing else on item 4, I guess we'll move on to item 5. Any comments or other business? I know I mentioned executive is working on filling the vacancy. Was there anything else that folks wanted to touch on today or that's come up?
I'll just mention that I don't want to share the specific property owners or properties because they haven't actually applied, but we have had some property owners that are pursuing other funding that may come to COSAC. So about 8 parcels or so potentially that of 2 different property owners that may be interested in coming and pursuing COSAC funding.
Great.
Cool.
So that's just come about in the last, well, it's been evolving over the last month or so, but really in the last week to 10 days, so.
Great. Great.
Brandon, do you mind if I follow up on that?
Sure.
You're talking about the ones that. And I wanted to ask, this funding source, they're looking for letters of support. We were going to go through council and the executive, but I don't know if you wanted an opportunity as well to submit letters of support for properties that are looking for conservation easements through other funding sources. I just wanted to throw it out there. Yeah.
Sure, I think we're happy to do so. I know that I've written at least one in the last year, so,
All right.
yeah, I I think we're interested in writing letters of support. It wouldn't include a commitment.
Right.
Or anything.
No, and they had, like Brandon mentioned, they haven't reached out to apply for us yet, but I would say just as a general statement of supporting conservation easements in unincorporated county.
Yeah, I think we're happy to do that. Does that sound agreeable to everyone?
Yeah, and we can do the basic draft language if you just want to review it.
Yeah.
And that, so. Okay, just wanted to confirm that.
Yeah. Thanks. Anything else?
How many million we got left now?
The first 6 million has been spoken for
Okay.
between the various projects. And I think we
That-
do,
That was already in the bank, basically.
correct,
Does that
correct.
include Elkhorn? And then the 2 outright purchases?
I couldn't say specifically, because I don't know.
Might add
Not
up
that I'm
to
keeping
more
it
than-
from you, but it at least includes the 2 projects. I'm not sure about
Might be more
Elkhorn.
than 6 if you
It could be,
have that.
So our total was 20, right?
yes.
Yeah, and then we have Harris Farms that received round 1 approval, and then I believe Silva Farms as well. So they're both going through as far as I know, they're both going through the process. I've spoken with someone regarding Harris Farm more recently than Silva, but both, when I've talked to them in the last 2 to 3 months, have said that they're working on
Yeah.
stuff, so.
Claire, I mean, the more I think about it, I want to say that it does include Elkhorn, because if I think about the dollar amounts for the other 2 projects, they don't add up to 6.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
Keegan, I don't know if you remember off the top of your head, but,
So some of that should close in the next 6 months, majority of it? The
I-
ownership deal?
I think the projects for the county that the council pursued are probably already closed.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So the county owns those properties, and so Elkhorn Ranch is the next one. It's been funded. The funding from the feds has been confirmed. And so they're just in the middle of due diligence, which could take 6 or 12 months, I don't know,
Okay.
but it's gonna take a while.
So we have closed on this county deal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else? Any other questions?
So the county will, I'm just asking for my information, so those properties will be managed by the county, I assume.
For the time that they own them, they won't necessarily own them in perpetuity. Something could happen with an easement. It was more about getting them under the control of the county for the time being, right? Because the issue with the county, well, at least one issue with the county maintaining ownership of the long term is it doesn't have a formal easement on it, from my understanding, the way that they were purchased. So they'll be interested in, I'm trying to summarize what I've understood from past meetings.
Sure.
So if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but the point being that eventually, in order to make sure it has a long-term preservation mechanism, that there will, probably be an easement put on it or some other strategy to
Okay.
accomplish that.
Right now, it's just private ownership. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's still, those are still, I would characterize them personally as works in progress,
Yeah.
because they don't have an easement on them, and their final disposition, how that looks and who manages it and stuff like that, I think is yet to be determined, yeah.
Okay. Well, I just getting caught up a little.
Yeah, and the county executive did provide a presentation at our last meeting. I think Reagan, you weren't here.
No.
So yeah, he gave those particulars, and so I know we have them about those projects, the dollar amounts and who put in what and that sort of thing.
Okay.
I can send you a copy of his presentation and a link to the meeting, the video.
Okay, that'd be great.
Yeah. Yeah, sharing that presentation with the COSAC would be helpful, Brandon.
Okay.
So thank you for doing that.
Oh, okay. I was just trying to figure out how they're gonna manage it. They don't know yet, sounds like.
In partnership with other government organizations,
Okay,
is what I would guess.
all right.
I think, you know, for Sherwood Hills, there's a working relationship and an investment on the part of Wellsville City, for example.
Yes.
I think, is likely to step up and help with management of those areas.
The city might be involved in the other one too.
Yep. Yep. Smithfield and Hyde Park.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else? Any updates on BST by chance?
Still trying to set up meetings with landowners.
Okay,
I think moving forward on that.
great.
Yeah, hopefully slower than we were hoping, but
Yeah,
hopefully we'll come to an agreement. Yeah, much more beyond that.
okay. Okay,
I guess we potentially will be coming, we did get funding for phase 1B from the state. And we have landowners, it's mostly, it's all through North Logan for that one. And so we might be helping North Logan come to you for the match funding to purchase the easements. That's all developers, so they have incentive to build the trail. North Logan is talking to their landowners right now, making sure they're all for sure willing and good with the alignment. So we might have news there soon.
great. Okay, thank you.
Cool.
Yeah. Anything else, committee members, you want to talk about before we wrap this up? Got some work items, some tasks to undertake in the next few weeks. Okay, if nothing else,
Do they appoint, what's their term of our office? I don't know that. Or
They're 1-year appointments.
1
I
year?
think end of the year.
One year.
They can be renewed repeatedly, but they're for 1 year.
When does that happen?
So that occurred in December to be applicable at the beginning of this year. So the term ends the end of the calendar year.
Okay. And the executive reappoints.
Correct.
Okay.
okay, anything else? All right, without objection, we'll stand adjourned then. Thank you, committee members.
Yeah.
See you guys, thanks for all your work.
See you, Keegan.
Thank you, Keegan.
In my lifetime.
Yeah.
It's an amazing deal.
Yeah, that's,
Okay.
The chambers thing.